Ask yourself the damn question. Is winning the only thing to you?
Sports today are not just played on the field. They're played every day, online, all over the world, by sports fans just like you.
Don't you dare breathe. That won't get you anywhere. If you don't think you're a winner, you don't belong here.
The Star Fantasy League Show puts you in control of your own team. Find out who to sit, who to start, how to play, and have your daily fantasy sports questions answered with your host, Jonathan Sprung, and co-host SFL CEO Zach Stanley and Nick Steblenko. The Star Fantasy League Show is on the air now.
Hello and welcome to the Star Fantasy League Show here on 105.5 The Team in Rochester. I am your host, Jonathan Sprung, joined, as always, by SFL CEO, the Deucey Moose himself, Mr. Zach Stanley.
2 more days till Bills camp, baby.
It's
almost like a day and a half. It almost feels like there isn't even any time at all that needs to pass.
I believe you have the dates wrong. They reported today, their first practice, as you said, 2 days from now. So technically, it has started. They're arrived. They're probably somewhere around Rochester right now.
And Nick won't be able to go because he's in the vault.
I believe Nick Steblenko is not in the vault. He was fired from the Star Fantasy League show yesterday for being such a flip-flopper that I couldn't handle it, so replacing him as SFL family member and occasional closer, starter, setup man, Jason Grincher.
I've been rehabbing for the last 2 weeks, just waiting for the call. It finally happened.
We had to send him down for a little bit.
I'm back.
Yeah. You know what? I think we ran out your arm a little bit.
Yeah.
You got a little bit overworked.
Definitely overworked, but I'm back in my closer role. It seems like it's always the last day of the week.
You know what? That is true. Apparently, we have a lot of people on this show who like to call out. I put air quotes. You can't see them, obviously. Air quotes on calling out sick. Because it's Friday. People want to do other things. So
we wanted to make sure that he didn't have Tommy John old surgery.
I like that. Tommy John old surgery.
Pretty good. Pretty good.
That's a little weird. I'm not going to lie. All right, so now that if you didn't hear yesterday's show, Nick decided to pull the flip-flop of the century and go from, what was it? It's between Cincinnati and St. Louis.
Should I sub in for him now? It wasn't a flip-flop. I didn't flip-flop.
No, he definitely flip-flopped. He picked St. Louis not to win the division. He originally had them winning the division, and then he moved them down to the wild card.
Which was the initial flip-flop.
Yeah, and then he still picked them to go to the World Series. So I'm not sure how you do that, but ultimately,
I don't know how you – I mean, like, yes, we have seen wild card teams win the World Series, but how do you actually rationalize your World Series team being the wild card?
Yeah, especially with the new format.
Right. Where they're going to have a playoff game.
In the playoff game, the play-in game.
That game is ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's really exciting, but I can't imagine playing 162 games and then having to play one game.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's baseball. There's 162 games, and then they have a 5-game division series. They can at least have a 7. There's only 4 teams that make.
I think the whole playoffs are a little strange. Reform needs to happen.
No other major American sport does that.
Yeah, they're stuck in this weird time portal. They're like, yeah, it's 1912. We'll just use the same stuff. Well, wild card. Ooh, that's scary. We can't talk about that.
At least it should be a 3-game, I think.
Something
for the wild card.
Yeah, this one-game thing. That's football. Football, you get one game. It's because it's so damaging to the.
Yeah, I understand the season goes so long that they can't have all 7-game series. Otherwise, we're getting into November, but.
I do enjoy that we just went on this absolutely random wild card playoff tangent because that was not on the rundown for today's show.
Oh, it's Nick's fault.
That is true. Nick, we hardly missed you flip-flopping man.
Flip-flopping sob.
Flip-flopping teddy bear. I have no idea. All right, on today's Star Fantasy League show, it is Friday and baseball has returned, so we're going to break down all of your fantasy needs for baseball on starfantasyleagues.com. Coming up in the last segment of the show, we'll have all your pitchers, your batters, your values, your stat, everything you want to know for today's games. They kick off in a little over an hour, so we'll have plenty of time to get those rosters all set. We are talking about the NBA lottery potential reform in the first segment, and obviously John L's mailbag. So we got a full slate to go on today. Some free agency news going on, some trade rumors. So let's kick it off with this proposed Adam Silver new NBA lottery. He's attempting to kill tanking, basically, and I'm not sure if this plan that he outlined is going to do it.
I mean, it definitely could end up working out. I think it could work out a little better at the very least because you have so many teams that, given the percentages, you have so many teams that are tanking for that number 1 or number 2 pick. Right now, with the way the drafts have gone over the course of the last 10 years or so, if you're a third or fourth pick, I mean, the 1 and 2 picks are the picks.
Except for last year, where Anthony Bennett somehow
Well,
managed
yeah,
to
I mean,
be the worst first
of
pick ever.
course, but usually that's what ends up happening, especially with the talent pool that is coming out of college as of late. Obviously, it can happen where there could be the Carmelo Anthony draft and all, and all that.
Or this year's draft, where it's a potential more than 2, but that's a pretty rare statement to see.
And so having the third or fourth pick isn't nearly as desirable, which is the reason that everybody is tanked for that 1 or at worst at 2. But having 4 teams that have equal chances, it's hard to imagine 4 teams equally tanking. And
well, that's the whole thing is, 1 through 4, yeah, they have the proposal says they have an 11% chance, but then it goes down a tiny amount. So the fifth team has 10%, and it goes down from there all the way to the last team in the lottery. The best team that missed the playoffs gets 2%, as opposed to 0.5.
You're still going to have tanking.
Yeah.
Because the teams that are like right outside the lottery, they're probably going to tank. They don't think they're going to make the playoffs. And I don't really like the system.
They are not.
No,
they will
that's
too.
Okay, I think that is, because before they had a 0.5% chance.
Yeah.
Let's say you have the 8 seed, and you're like, okay, we're going to play whoever in the first round that's going to blow us out, the San Antonio Spurs or Oklahoma City. You don't think that team's going to tank out of that spot to try to get?
But the lottery's 14.
But they still have a 2% chance. It's much better odds
than 0.5, yeah.
And I just hate I like the lottery, but I hate the system just because if you have all these 4 teams that have an equal shot at the number 1 pick, like, what do the records even matter anymore? Really. Any other sport doesn't have the system.
That is the thing that bothers me is that, yes, now we're trying to incorporate this system that avoids tanking, but what we're basically doing is incorporating a system where record doesn't matter.
Right. It's like an equal opportunity system. It's stupid, I think.
Right, and teams that are maybe one good player away from being a contender could jump up to that top spot.
Yeah, and the number 1 team could fall to like the 8th pick.
Yeah, that's another thing here. They're not just going to pull. You know how they pulled just 3 lottery, like the ping pong balls, to determine the top 3, and then everybody else goes by seeding. Now they want to. The proposal says 6 total balls will be pulled. So, like you said, you could have the worst record in the league, and if you don't get pulled, you could have the 7th pick.
Right.
Imagine if you quote unquote tanked and you ended up with a 7th pick. That's pretty bad.
Right. So even if we eliminate tanking, say this fully does the job of eliminating tanking, then you're looking at teams that really do need help, that are so bad, that finish poorly. They could finish 10 games worse than anybody and still not be able to get in the top 5, which is just not okay, I don't think.
Yeah, although this is good for teams. If this does come into play in the next couple of years, this is good for teams that have protections on picks. Let's say you have a top 10 protected and you're kind of around the lottery. You could get moved up to the 6th, 7th pick, and then you keep your pick because of it. So that's the problem with this. Teams have traded away picks with the original system in place. Shouldn't they just go to the last year that a team has traded a pick and then implement it? Because I don't think it's fair to teams that have already traded or acquired a pick based on previous year's information. I don't think that's fair.
I don't know. I think the system still needs a lot of work.
Yeah, this is the first proposal we've seen. I've seen a wheel proposal as well, which is that was insane. That's another day to talk about. But we need to get into NBA free agency and this whole trade rumor thing going on. The first one I wanted to bring up is Rodney Stuckey to Indiana. This is basically the Lance Stevenson plan B. He's coming in on a 1-year deal, so it's basically just a flyer. At the veterans minimum, they're not spending any money here. They can kind of maybe grab somebody at the deadline if they really decide this isn't going anywhere. But is this what you'd expect for Lance Stevenson's replacement?
Well, they also got C.J. Miles, which I think could end up being a big factor in what they're able to do. He was up above 40% in three-point shooting last year, and he's an explosive scorer at times. So I think he'll be a huge asset. And I think Stuckey will be an asset too. I like the fact that they, kind of similar to Chicago, they infused some players where that would give them an offensive boost when they needed it. We saw coming off the bench last year, even with the starters, it was difficult for them to score. But coming off the bench, it got even worse. Having these guys available, I think, will be a big asset to them.
Yeah, I really like the Stuckey addition. He's definitely some instant offense off the bench, depending if he's going to start or if Miles is going to start. Either one, you got some decent production for Lance. I think last year I saw a comparison between Miles and Stevenson's numbers in the equal minutes played, and it was pretty close. So
yeah, per 36 minutes, yeah. I mean, Stuckey has just been wallowing in Detroit. We all know that. He hasn't been happy there. There have been issues with him in the front office. There have been issues with him and the coaches. And I think for him to have the opportunity to play on a winning team, and he has a lot of skills. He is a good player. I think if he is able to, I just think he's excited to be on a team that is
winning team,
right? That is going to be a contender. I think that he'll work really hard and push himself. He's already come out with statements, which obviously is what happens. But he's come out with statements saying that whether it's playing on the bench, whether he needs to play starters minutes once in a while, whatever he needs to do, he is committed to it. And I'm looking forward to seeing him in a role that gets him geared up a little bit, because what he was doing in Detroit was just
going through the motions.
It was very inconsistent, and he was benched for long periods of time because
he was supposed to be the guy, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was. And at one point early in his career, it really seemed like he was going to be.
Yeah. Oops.
But
he allows this Indiana team to go small. To go small as well, because they can play him at the 3 if they really need to. He's 6'5", plays okay defense, especially when he's engaged. Which, again, on that Detroit team, you really can't judge him in a system that didn't really allow for defense to be played.
Yeah, and you get it out of Detroit, which everybody wants to pretty much do. They got a lot of chuckers on that team, especially Josh Smith, ball hogs.
Okay, again. Why is his name is involved in trade rumors all the time? Who wants him? I know he's an athletic, just beast, but the way he plays basketball angers me as a basketball purist. I hate him as a basketball player.
Yeah, I think it was just a bad signing by Detroit with Drummond and Monroe, and you're forced to put Smith at the 3, and he's just out there chucking threes all game.
That doesn't even matter. Josh Smith has not, for a while now, has not gotten physical down low at all. In his waning years in Atlanta, he's standing on the outside. He's trying to play some sort of Dirk Nowitzki role.
Wait, hold on. You forgot my favorite Josh Smith thing ever, when he runs the fast break, gets the ball, and just stops at the 3-point line. That's his favorite go-to move, and he gets benched every time he does it.
That's the Steph Curry.
Yeah, except that's Steph Curry. This is Josh Smith, who looks like, you could just barrel to the basket. Nope.
Yeah,
I don't do that.
His defense has declined a little bit. He's one of those guys that can come up with the big wow defensive play and have a massive block or something like that. But the team play aspect of his game is just declining tremendously. And since they had the playoff run with Horford and Joe Johnson, he hasn't been on a team that actually is even remotely close to winning.
And I don't think
and that has led to a big decline in his game.
And I don't think a team that's going to be in a winning formula is going to trade for somebody like Josh Smith.
No, not especially not with his pay grade either.
No, he doesn't fit the mold. He's not that type of player, and he costs way too much to be interested. Not a fan. All right, coming after the break, we're going to continue this talk, and we're also going to do John Old's mailbag. And you listen to the Star Fantasy League show on 105.5 The Team.
The Star Fantasy League show. Information is key to being a successful fantasy team owner, and the guys have all the updated info you need right now. Okay, fantasy sports fans.
There's a letter in your mailbox.
Time to dig into Donald's mailbag for your questions and comments.
Read the mail, read the mail, read the mail.
Jump in the game. Send your questions and comments to the Star Fantasy League's team by tweeting at SFL Show.
We're back on the Star Fantasy League show, and as we tend to do on this show, we got a little long-winded in the opening segment talking about NBA free agency, trades, and all that good stuff. So we have a lot more to talk about. We're going to push Jonathan's mailbag back a little bit. Send us your questions. Tweet us at SFL Show if you want to get in the mailbag, or if we talk long, you're not going to be in the mailbag at all. So.
Jason got too talkative again.
Yeah, Jason, stop it.
Thanks
I'm
a lot.
Sorry. It's all my fault.
Yeah, it is. It's generally, let's be honest, it's generally your fault. When Nick's here, he doesn't talk at all, and you're here, and you just won't shut up.
Yeah, Nick never says anything of value.
This is true. All right, I wanted to cover NBA free agency a little more because the big news to come out of yesterday, again, is it a source? Is it a rumor? We don't know. That the Cleveland Cavaliers are now okay with including Andrew Wiggins in a trade for Kevin Love.
Thank you.
Why has this trade not been completed if this rumor is true?
That's the thing that I don't understand is that I'm not really sure what the Timberwolves are trying to bite off here, because if he is included in this,
done.
And they're still making issues with what they're going to get. Cleveland has the biggest opportunity to offer them pieces that can help them and that can help them build toward the future, and they're not going to get it anywhere else. And if they push this with Kevin Love into the season to any length at all, they're going to be in even more trouble. because they're not going to get back what they want.
I don't like the idea of trading a player to a team that's contending, like a player like that, like Kevin Love. Give him at least some kind of camp. Allow him to gel with the team. If you bring him in 2 months into the season, I mean, obviously it's going to work eventually, but that type of time you can't get back.
Well, not to mention you're removing him from the West. So I don't really, this is pretty much a win-win for them.
Yeah, who's going to move into the 2 guard? Do you think Waiters is going to start now?
Well, the latest report is the reason that this deal isn't completed is because they also want Dion Waiters.
Oh.
What is this team like? Minnesota has to be delusional, right? I said on the show earlier, this deal should not be completed if Cleveland really thinks he's that interested in coming there. They should just wait for the offseason. I don't know if the team could win this year even with him, but if you wait to the offseason and you have Love, LeBron, Wiggins, Waiters, and Kyrie, that's a championship team.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. He would have to want to come there, though.
Yeah, but I'm saying,
and he would have to not get a better offer somewhere else, and they would have to plan around that happening and not do anything else to build around their team right now. And then if it didn't happen, it kind of sets them back.
Well, but
I just think you pounce on it if you can get it now.
But there's no guarantee. He's not legally allowed to sign an extension until January 3rd, which means if you trade for him now, you have to have a wink, wink, nudge, nudge agreement with him. He can't actually sign an extension.
He'll sign an extension.
That's what, okay, but it could just be a weird LeBron
I get
situation.
to play with Kyrie Irving and LeBron. I'll sign whatever you want me to sign.
What Brown wants, Brown gets.
Yeah, that's
right?
true.
Well, yeah.
And supposedly Brown's reached out.
Hold on.
So,
Ask Shabazz Napier how he feels about that. But
I like that the ESPYs, they cut to Napier. Did you see that?
No, did they? Or I didn't see that.
Something when they're talking about the Heat and LeBron, and
And
they
it's
cut
so
to him,
fu-
and he was just like the saddest look on his face. Like,
That's
It's so funny that LeBron tweeted about it, too. Like, oh, he's coming, like, pumped up about the pick, and encouraged them to make the pick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why players should not be GMs. Stop this.
He controls it. That's just the way it is right now.
All right, so I'm assuming you guys are all in on Kevin Love for Andrew Wiggins.
well, I'm still kind of holding out that he's going to come to the Warriors.
Oh, stop that.
Well, that's fine for you.
Yeah, we don't care
But
about your
yeah,
opinion.
I think this is definitely the move that both teams need to make. Kevin Love is not going to stay. We have to remember that this isn't the NFL. This isn't the number 1 pick that everybody can trade the farm for, or is willing to trade the farm for. This is a guy that is not happy, that is going to leave the team regardless. You have a year. You have the opportunity to get some great pieces for him. Now is the time to do it. I think it's something that is good for both teams at this point.
Man, Flip Saunders is trying to save face here. And it's really it's really embarrassing. He's like, "Oh, we got to get the farm," like you said, for him, but it's not going to end up being that.
Flip Saunders is one of those guys that is just unbelievably red in the face.
Wow.
He always
Wow.
it's like Mike Shanahan. You don't understand it. How is he so red?
I don't know. You
Wow,
got to take
that's
what you
weird.
can get, though, for Love right now. He's going to leave. Take what you can get, especially if it's a number 1 pick.
Yeah, what else
Wiggins
do you
and
want?
picks. If
Yeah,
you get
what
more picks with it, you got to do it.
I don't know what else
This
they
is
want.
this is the ideal trade partner for them.
Yep. I completely agree, but I still think they should hold off and just try to sign him.
And I disagree.
Okay, we're allowed to do that on the show.
It happens quite frequently.
One
so.
more thing before we get to our questions in Jonathan's mailbag today. I wanted to talk about what the hell are the Los Angeles Lakers doing? What are they doing?
I think they're making a smart decision.
Yeah, I like the move they've made. They got Boozer, they got Davis, they re-signed Nick Young. They're a much
my
better
God.
team.
Wait, hold on. You just went from okay, Swaggy P.
They gave Jordan Hill a new house.
Yeah.
You
Well,
know.
they gave Jordan Hill like 18 new houses.
Yeah.
He signed like a
Yeah,
$18 million
I can't
contract.
believe how much money they gave Jordan Hill.
Yeah.
Still don't have a coach, though.
That's the thing. Okay. So you're the Los Angeles Lakers. You see Carlos Boozer get amnestied. You just lost Pau Gasol. You only have Kobe Bryant and a bunch of clown car pieces, basically. They just jammed him into a car and see what happens. Traded for Jeremy Lin. What are they expecting from okay?
The Bulls have to cover that $13 million in salary.
Yeah, I'm aware of that.
And they got Boozer for $3.25.
Again,
That is a steal.
I'm aware of that, but they need to finish in the bottom 5 to have their first-round pick next year, or else it goes to Phoenix. I believe it's top 5 protection, or else it goes to Phoenix. Are they tanking, or do they just not care about next year's pick? Because originally when I saw these pieces they were signing, I went, oh, okay, this makes sense. They're just going to have another tanking year. But Lynn there, now you got Boozer. Are they trying to win?
It's the West, so, I mean, they're going to have very tough competition. They're probably still going to finish towards the bottom of that league, especially the West.
The Lakers are in shambles.
That's true.
And they tried to, Kobe tried to get Carmelo to hang out with him and whatever, but that didn't happen. It's just they don't have any of the pieces in place with an aging Kobe Bryant. Does this team have relevance if Kobe Bryant is 30? Yes, but not anymore. We don't even know what Kobe Bryant's going to bring to the table next year.
To be fair, he may not be 30, but his new knee ligaments surely are.
And they still have Steve Nash.
Oh, wow.
The stud.
Again, you just keep saying things that I don't take you seriously. You mentioned Swaggy P in good signings. Yeah, that was a thing.
Yeah, he got paid too.
He got paid.
Very well.
But
like so many other teams right now, the Lakers had to meet the cap as well.
You know what the funny thing is? They didn't re-sign Jody Meeks, yet they give Nick Young a comparable contract. I mean, are you kidding me? Jody Meeks was one of your best players last season. They didn't re-sign Kent Bazemore, who I loved on that team.
I feel like Nick Young was like the fan hire. He's like, it's like the fan signing. Everybody loves Swaggy P in LA.
Can he also be a hype man for the team? Like, what are you expecting him to be on this roster? He's just a scorer who can't do anything else.
And he's also a a pre-show interviewer. Did you see him at the ESPYs on the red carpet?
I hate him.
Yeah,
so much.
I saw him there. Yeah, he was looking fresh.
It was a bit of a train wreck, though.
What a surprise! You really expect him to be like a personable
guy? The Lakers don't have a chance to do anything. And so, no, I don't really know. I mean, obviously they had to fill the cap space. I don't know what their plan is for the future.
I hope they finish right outside.
I don't see it being a good future. The NBA is becoming a league where these big locations, New York, LA, Boston, that's not necessarily the driving force. Chicago,
nope.
That's not the driving force that is going on right now. It's about who's where and how you can fit the pieces together the best. People are willing to go there.
Well, they do have Julius Randle, who I saw on SportsCenter. They compared him to Magic Johnson last night.
Oh, good. That's a thing you should definitely be doing. God, SportsCenter sometimes is the worst on that network we won't mention.
So then I guess the Lakers are going to win.
Oh, yeah.
Magic won in his first year, so they'll probably win.
Yeah, they're going to win the next 4 titles straight. Easy times. All right, we got to get to one question in Giles' mailbag. It's basically all basketball all the time today because there's a lot of information just going around. Daryl J. writes, Eric Bledsoe turned down a 4-year, $48 million deal to stay with Phoenix. Based on this year's market, should he hold out for a max offer? Is he going to get one?
Jonald, I know that you're going to mention another deal that is related to this.
I don't know what you're talking about. We don't talk about this. We don't talk about this stuff beforehand.
I'm going to mention a deal that keeps coming into my mind and has come into my mind throughout this entire free agency. The Rajon Rondo deal.
Which was
What,
beautiful.
5 for 50.
Yep.
And, it was a great deal, and they got him at the right time. But at that point in time, he was very desirable. It was an extension.
Yep.
So, I mean, it just seemed, to me, at that point in time, he was way ahead of where Eric Bledsoe is now. And Eric Bledsoe just got offered a comparable contract to that, and he wants to be a max guy.
Well, I think he just wants out of Phoenix. With all the guards that have come in, the point guards, they've got Dragic, Ennis, they signed Thomas.
They routinely play them together, the two.
Right.
That team loves to play small. They don't really have a natural big man rotation.
But his minutes are definitely not going to be where I think he wants him to be.
He only played 40 games last year.
Yeah, watch out for Tyler Ennis.
No, Tyler Ennis will be in the D League next year, guaranteed. He's not
no doubter in the D League.
Yeah. They're gonna well they got rid of they didn't get rid of Ish Smith, just signed somewhere else as well, so he's not there to clog.
Yeah, I like Ish Smith too.
He went to the Rockets, right?
Yes, I believe so.
Pretty sure Rockets. I'd like that signing.
So I mean, he's claimed to be the fastest guy in the league. I'm sure Rajon Rondo's not happy about that because they said he was the fastest guy in the league.
We all know that he's got a lot of potential, but given the way that he drives to the hoop, which is kind of erratic, and he's already had some injuries, I think that could end up being a problem. I don't see him as a max guy right now. I think it's possible that he could be.
He's played one season where he was a starter and had starters minutes, and he played 40 games and averaged 17 points. Where is the max deal coming from this?
Well,
where is it?
Everybody wants a max deal these days.
I have to say, we were talking earlier about the guy that I'm going to mention. It's Eric Gordon. Same situation, originally drafted by the Los Angeles Clippers, injury problems, shipped off to another team. His deal was 4 years, $58 million he got, and Bledsoe is turning down $10 million less.
I think it was. I mean, with Eric Gordon, it was a top pick, and it was hope, and
it really was hope, right?
It was. It was hanging on to what seemed like it could be at the beginning, but what was inevitably not going to be. And Eric Gordon, I mean, the injury, he is like in the last 10 years, he's probably just behind Greg Oden, I guess, and Brandon Roy in terms of just not being able to play a whole season, not being able to improve his game. And not only has he not been able to play a full season, but his injuries have significantly hampered his talents.
That's very true. All right, there's another guy I want to mention really quickly who got a max deal and was matched. Gordon Hayward. Would you rather at this point have Gordon Hayward, who's a proven commodity, who can stay healthy and play, or would you rather have Eric Bledsoe?
I'd rather have Eric Bledsoe.
Would you really?
Yeah, I would.
It depends on the
I'm
system.
not big on Gordon Hayward. It's different positions, so it's difficult to say. But I would rather build my team around Eric Bledsoe. I don't think
even with the injury concerns. Wow.
Just saying.
All right, we're coming back after the break, and we are talking Friday Major League Baseball on StarFantasyLeagues.com, and you'll listen to the Star Fantasy League show on 105.5 The Team.
Play fantasy sports for cash prizes. Join the top daily and weekly fantasy leagues in the country at StarFantasyLeagues.com. Now, back to the Star Fantasy League show with Jonathan, Zach, and Nick. Only on The Team.
Guys, we really have to get the guy in the cage fixed. I don't mean fixed as in, like, fix him. I mean, like, take him to the vet and get him fixed.
Yeah, initially we were going with, little steps, baby steps.
Yep.
He's not getting there.
No, he's not. Now that Nick Steblenko has been fired from the Star Fantasy League show, good riddance, you flip-flopping man. You got to get out of here. We have hired Jason Gringer full-time. Please don't blow out your arm, Steven Strasburg. Don't do it.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
Wow.
Nick Steblenko.
I think you're
flip-flopping.
I think
Yeah,
I think
don't
you've been
flip-flop
fired
is
too.
all I can say. That's the warning to anybody that comes on this show.
Yeah, if
you'll
you'll
be gone.
If you're doing an interview, if you're lucky enough to be on the Star Fantasy League show, or tweet us at SFL show, if you give us an opinion and then you flip-flop, I'm gonna slam you.
Yeah, we see that way too often.
We talk about it
across the industry, which is why we hold ourselves accountable.
Yeah, that's a big thing. We talk about accountability. Now that we're doing the show in a different format, a lot more news, we've kind of moved accountability out, but we're going to start bringing that back with football season. We're going to make our preseason picks and actually stick to them.
And it's one thing to relent and say, I was wrong. Now I believe this guy can do this. But to say, well, now he's my, now he's my choice.
Yeah, he's my boy. I was on the bandwagon the whole time.
Right.
No, you weren't. Stop it,
Nick.
Yeah, this is
Great
true.
job, Nick.
Nick Steblenko, we hardly knew ye. See you later.
We hardly knew ye.
Right?
Yeah, I agree.
No?
I don't feel like I know him anymore after what happened yesterday.
But he's your childhood friend too. That's pretty cold of you.
Yeah, I grew up with him.
I've only known him a couple months. Jeez.
Massive character issues at this point.
I love it. Flip-flopping turns you into a terrible person. All right, we got to get to Major League Baseball breakdown for Friday on StarFantasyLeagues.com. You still got a little over an hour left to set your lineups on StarFantasyLeagues.com. We haven't done baseball in a while, I feel.
It's back.
It does seem like it seems like the break was longer than usual.
It does. That gosh
I think
darn
it actually
break,
was.
Man.
Was it? Was it usually was it Thursday last year?
I think it's usually 3 days, but this year was 4.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, right?
Yeah.
That's weird.
But then I was wondering, is that really the case with everybody that went to the ESPYs, like rushing to get back? Were there any baseball players at the
I don't
ESPYs?
think there was.
No.
Does anybody care? Does anybody care about the ESPYs?
About getting awards for their awards? I don't know.
Well, the only people that would be there are probably like the Red Sox because they won the World Series, but I'm pretty sure they weren't there. Yeah, but Daily Fantasy's back.
I know. It's exciting. If you haven't played Daily Fantasy Sports on StarFantasyLeagues.com, first off, you're missing out. Second off,
what are you doing?
I know, right? What are they doing? We have to help you out a little bit. How about some general knowledge on a slate where there's 15 games? It's a stacked lineup to look at. So many pitchers, so many batters. What is the first thing you're looking at, Jason, when you're trying to construct a lineup on StarFantasyLeagues.com for today?
I usually search for the best pitchers at the best value, and also look at the worst pitchers and stack against them.
Yeah, that's generally the thing that I almost always do. I look at the least expensive pitchers, and I see if it's for a reason. Like if a pitcher's new, obviously he's probably going to be the minimum on StarFantasyLeagues.com. I kind of I take that with a grain of salt because we don't really know with new pitchers. But if it's a guy that's down there and he's doing really poorly, obviously we're stacking against him. But you can find some value, some hidden gems depending on matchup down there.
Yeah, with a big slate like this, there's going to be a lot of production in some of these games in terms of hits and runs and home runs. So going with that approach and looking at a value guy for pitching, a couple value guys, that'll really help you get some of the big bets in there.
Yeah, it's tough to do coming back from the All-Star break. Usually teams have a chance to set their rotation to put one of their top starters,
that did not happen today.
Tomorrow,
Did not happen at all. I see a lot of there are some chuds in here, some pitchers that we like stacking against, I'll say.
Yeah, there's some really good guys, but there's a lot of guys in the middle that are also pretty decent.
Yeah, I'll be honest, I don't really love any of the top guys so much that I'm interested in their price tag. I prefer a lot of the middling 13,000, 14,000 guys as opposed to like a Steven Strasburg way up there. Or even a Udon. I know Toronto is a little bit under the weather, you could say. Their lineup's been kind of eaten apart by injuries, but I still don't like you in Toronto.
I like a few guys around like the 13,000, 14,000 range on Star Fantasy Leagues tonight.
I know, you got to get used to this. This is the first time you've done the today's review, right?
It is, yeah. It's
a little different. All right, let's talk about some stacks before we get to the pitchers. What would be your top stack of the day? Where are we heading?
I'm looking at the Diamondbacks.
Okay. Oh, when I mention the Diamondbacks, I'm an idiot. But when Jason mentions the Diamondbacks, he's a genius.
Yeah, they're going up against the Cubs. They're at home, and it's Edwin Jackson on the mound.
Who has not been a human being.
Yeah, he's 1-7 on the road with a 6.05 ERA.
Woo.
His ERA on the season actually is 5.64. And his last 2 starts, 13 runs against and 9 innings pitched. He's only had 1 game with 3 runs or less against in his last 7 starts.
So
he's not been
that's
too
disgusting.
well.
Yeah, that's not good.
No.
And I mean, we mentioned anytime it's Chicago, you assume it's in Wrigley, but this one's in Arizona again, another hitter's ballpark. I like Arizona at home a lot, and they have a lot of inexpensive options as well, which definitely helps.
They're 2 through 5 guys: Peralta, Goldschmidt, obviously, Montero, and Trumbo, who is back from the DL.
Trumbo, he's probably got a good value too, right?
Yeah, he's around 6,000, so it's a nice value for him. He was really hot in the beginning of the year before he got injured.
Man, you really hate leadoff hitters, don't you? Because I actually like Didi Gregorius on this team quite a bit when he's been hitting in that leadoff spot, and he's inexpensive.
Yeah.
Actually, hold on. It depends because they've been switching up. It's either Didi at the top or Ender Inciarte at the top. Yes. I like him for value too, just depending who's hitting at the top of that lineup.
Yeah, I think if you're going to choose a guy at the top of the lineup, you got to look at his stolen bases.
Yep.
You got to look at his strikeout percentage, his walks, just his ability to get on base early is critical because you're likely to miss out on a chunk of RBIs.
Yeah, that's true. Stolen bases are important. Runs scored, obviously, if a team's bringing them home.
Yeah, runs, I think you get the same amount of points as RBIs. So if there's a guy that can steal a lot of bases and score a lot of runs in a nice lineup, definitely something to look at.
Especially if he's inexpensive. Get you 3-4 fantasy points. That's a monster day for you.
Yep.
All right, another stack. Where are we heading, Zach?
I like the Pirates game, just overall, pretty much. I like the Pirates.
You love stacking whole games,
I
don't
do.
you?
I'm a big whole game stacker. I think this game could be really high. I don't trust De La Rosa at all. And
we're talking about Jorge, not Ruby.
Not Ruby.
I like Ruby.
I love Ruby.
Yeah.
Just because his name's awesome.
Ruby.
I don't know why his name's Ruby with 2 B's.
Yeah, I don't either. Oh, there's another guy we don't trust with two consonants.
2 B's.
Those are weird.
I kind of trust him.
Oh, do you? Okay.
Rubby.
What if his name was Rub De La Rosa?
If it was Rubby, he'd be like my favorite player. But
what if it really is and we're just pronouncing it wrong?
No, I made sure to check. I got yelled at.
But you won't pronounce Dallas Keuchel correctly.
No, I have on yesterday's show. I did pick him as the under the radar player for the. I believe it was the AL. They're the AL Central, yeah.
West.
Oh, how are they in the AL West? Stop that.
They moved last year.
I know, but I'm saying for
Houston,
for where they are in the country, they should be AL Central.
Yeah.
Stop that. I don't care.
right, because they were in the Central.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They were originally in the Central.
In the NL.
In the NL.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how do you go from the NL Central to the AL West?
Well, the NL had too many teams.
I know. We digress. It's terrible.
So we don't need another team in the AL Central.
That's true.
We're fine.
All right. Yeah, really.
They got enough bad teams in that division.
It's true. All right. So where are we heading in this Colorado-Pittsburgh apocalypse of hitting?
I think everybody's pretty much open in the middle there. The Dick Man. Love the Dick Man.
Dick Man. I have no idea who you were talking about.
Dickerson.
Oh, he's called the Dick Man. I think we're going to get a lot of bleeps on today's show. I apologize to all the listeners for what Zach just tried to give a nickname for. That was a little weird, not going to lie.
Kutch. I like Kutch a lot. Tulo. I think a lot of what you do in this, there are some expensive guys on both teams. What you end up doing here will be gauged kind of on what you're able to get in terms of value pitchers.
Yep.
But I think there are more than enough value pitchers out there.
You know what? Yeah, let's talk about pitchers for today. You got an hour to set your lineups on StarFantasyLeagues.com. We got to get some pitchers in your lineup to be able to put in those big bats. Where are we heading? Because there's a lot of pitchers that I'm just straight up not interested in. It's a lot of matchups I'm looking at and I'm saying, no, too expensive, not good enough. So what are you looking at, Jason?
There's a couple guys I really like. Starting off with Ian Kennedy for the Padres going up against the Mets. Team
Man,
you love to pick against,
You
right?
just love to go straight for my pitcher of the day, don't you?
Well, okay. Well, he's not my pitcher of the day.
I know, but you went for him straight away.
Well, he's really turned it around in his 3 July starts. 2-0, 21 innings pitched, only 14 hits allowed, and 22 strikeouts. The Mets are 24th against right-handed pitching with a 297 weighted on base average. It's in San Diego, and this is also a little bit of a trade showcase for the Padres, who have been rumored to be putting Kennedy on the block. Possibly the Angels are interested. I've seen a lot of interest from them. So he's probably going to come out. He's been pretty good this month. So.
Yeah, and, man, on the other side of that game, don't you kind of want to look at Bartolo Colon? Every time he's pitching, I don't know why, but he's always in play.
Yeah, this is a kind of a matchup of two guys that are on the block. Colon, Mets have said they want to get rid of him. There's probably going to be a lot of contenders looking at this game. A lot of scouts in the stands.
Yeah, this is the lowest over-under.
If they haven't seen Bartolo Colon pitch before, they'll definitely
in the last
be at
17
the game.
years, exactly.
They'll get to see him hit, and maybe his helmet will fall off again.
Yeah, really. Can you guys believe that this is the lowest over-under of the day? Mets, Bartolo Colon against Ian Kennedy is the lowest over-under. That kind of blows me away that those two names are that low.
Well,
not gonna lie.
I can see it.
They'll get to see his neck or lack thereof.
Yeah, he's
his gut.
He's a large man. It's not fun. It's not funny to make fun of large.
No,
large
it's okay
people.
in baseball. There's momentum carried to the plate. And
All right.
that's what's important.
Earlier, I brought up the more expensive pitchers: the Yu Darvish, the Strasburgs, Iwakuma against the Angels of Anaheim under the 405 freeway.
He's
that
really
team.
taken a big jump.
Yeah, he has.
He's been
In
dealing.
price, you mean, right?
Yeah, but I mean, he's been one of those guys that is helping keep the Mariners relevant.
Well, it certainly helps when you pitch in Seattle. That Safeco's a nice little place to pitch, but they're in Anaheim.
I like Weaver.
In that matchup?
Yeah, I think he's going to get it going in the second half.
That's what you assume, though. He hasn't been, from a fantasy standpoint, like 6 points is kind of where he's been the entire season, and he just doesn't have much upside for me.
I just think the way that the Angels offense is playing right now, obviously it's not a gimme against Iwakuma, but I think they're in a good rhythm. And I think Weaver we all know that he has strikeout potential, so I really think that he could put something solid together here. Despite the Iwakuma matchup, they're still legitimately favored.
Well, this is a big matchup, especially in the AL, because both of these teams have been on fire, and the Angels are only 1.5 back of the A's, and Seattle's right on the Angels' tail. Yep. So I think they're in the wild card. Both teams
this
right
game
now.
looks like a pitcher's duel to me.
Yeah. It should be. Another pitcher I like in this zone we're talking about, the 13,000 range on StarFantasyLeagues.com, is Jose Quintana, who is going up against Houston. Houston, man, they've just been struggling. They brought a lot of these young guys up, and they just seem to not be hitting that well. So I'm not a fan. Anybody on Quintana?
Yeah. See, now you went back on me, and you stole my play of the day.
Did I really?
Yes.
Alrighty. See, I love when I do that. I'm not gonna lie.
No, he's been outstanding the last 5 starts. I was surprised. I hadn't noticed him because he was kind of scuffling at the beginning of the year. But his last 5 starts, he's gone over 7 innings pitched in all of them.
You say scuffling?
Yes.
Scuffling.
Yes.
It's like careening, except a new word. No?
He's only allowed 6 runs in those 5 starts total. So going against the Astros, he's also had 38 strikeouts in 36 innings pitched. So
and the Astros love to strike out. If you want to get a lot of points and they're important for strikeouts, look at Quintana tonight.
Quintana.
You got an hour to set your lineups. Do it. We're coming back after the break with all our top plays for Friday. And you're listening to the Star Fantasy League Show on 105.5 The Team.
You're listening to the Star Fantasy League Show. Contact the StarFantasyLeagues.com guys via Twitter at SFL Show.
Welcome back. We finally have daily fantasy baseball to talk about on the Star Fantasy League Show. I don't know what we've been doing the whole week. We've been reviewing the mid-season awards for all these divisions, but who cares? Baseball's actually playing now.
it's back.
Yay.
Excited.
It is back. And that means we get to give you all of our top plays on StarFantasyLeagues.com. You have a little over an hour to get your lineup set, so we're going to give you our top pitcher, top batter, top value play, and our top stack of the day to make the best lineup you can on StarFantasyLeagues.com. Zach, take it away.
All right, I am going to be going with Giancarlo Stanton.
Wrong. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. I had to. I haven't done that in a
It's
while.
unacceptable. He's at 9,200. He's fourth in Major League Baseball versus left-handed pitching with a .482 WOBA. And after that little stint in the Home Run Derby, he's probably not happy. Maybe he'll get a hold of one tonight. Pitcher, I am going with Jared Weaver. I am confident and I feel good about it. So he's right around 13,000. I like his potential in the second half. I think he's going to continue to get it together, and I think we got an old-fashioned pitcher's duel tonight, maybe a 2-1 game. My stack, as I mentioned previously, is the Rockies-Pirates game.
So the whole game.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine.
And, I don't know, take somebody of value in there. You'll find someone.
Wow. That was just Zach. No, whatever. Go ahead. All right, Jason, you got to give us double the value.
Figure it out.
No, you don't. It's fine.
All right, my batter of the day is going to be Alex Rios.
Wow, nobody took any of my batters today. I'm very excited. Good for you guys.
He's
Thanks.
actually a decent value. He's at 6,500, going up against R.A. Dickey in Toronto. I love taking right-handed batters against knuckleball pitchers. He's hit in 9 of his last 10 games with 7 runs, 5 doubles, a home run. He also gets stolen bases. He's got 3 stolen bases in that span. Against R.A. Dickey, he's got a couple home runs. My pitcher of the day, as I said, is Jose Quintana. For the White Sox, going up against Houston, he's 13,000. Value play of the day, I don't know if you've heard of this guy. For the Cubs, is Arizmendi Alcantara.
Alcantara?
Yes.
Alcantara?
No.
That guy?
Yeah.
Like Izzy Alcantara who kicked the catcher that one time? Remember him?
Contra, that was
I
a
don't know.
great
In
game.
Pawtucket?
Great game, Contra.
Wow.
He's 5,000. He started in all 5 games since getting called up on July 9th. If you take away his MLB debut, when she went 0 for 4, he's hitting .474 in 4 games, averaging 9 fantasy points a game. And my stack of the day was the D-backs.
The D-backs. Again, if Jason says it, it means it's going to happen. If I say it, I'm a jerk.
What do you think about Cahill tonight for one of those value plays?
Get out of here. If you're
Against the
okay,
Cubs?
if
He's
you're
at the minimum.
Yeah, but he's coming off injury. He's been in the bullpen. He's not a player.
I was
you want.
debating stacking against just this whole game.
Yeah.
This whole game stack.
I actually, if you're going to look for some value, I'm not going to make it my pitcher of the day, but what about Clay Buchholz? Clay Buchholz has actually come back.
I was going to mention him
he's
too.
Really
he's like
cheap.
right around 7,000.
Yep. All right, I'll get to my top plays, though. Batter of the day, I have 3 listed, but I'm going with Jose Abreu. I'm going to have a nice little theme here with the Chicago White Sox. Man, I really, really, really love the matchup against that Scott Feldman guy. Not good. Not good. A lot of lefties in this lineup for Chicago. I'm going to stack the whole team, get some value in Alejandro De Aza, 4801 on StarFantasyLeagues.com. And I already mentioned it, my pitcher of the day is Ian Kennedy against the Mets. The Mets.
Meet the Mets.
No, don't meet the Mets.
Meet.
Although
I've never been good at that.
I was looking into this. Apparently, Ian Kennedy somehow, despite pitching in one of the best pitcher ballparks in the league, is better on the road significantly. How is that possible?
Watch out for Cahill.
No, okay. You don't get to say watch out for Cahill. No, don't do that. Watch out for Clay
You never
Buchholz.
know.
All right, if you guys want to play daily fantasy sports, especially on StarFantasyLeagues.com, if your home has been ripped away from you and you're not allowed to play on your home site, StarFantasyLeagues.com is the best place to play. We have great algorithms to make the best salaries possible.
Accurate salaries. There's nothing worse than having something that you feel like you've made your own taken away from you.
Yeah, that's true.
So take it back.
Yeah, take it back.
Take the power back.
You get free rolls every single day on StarFantasyLeagues.com. Thousands of dollars in guaranteed prize pools.
Rage against the machine.
It's the best place to play daily fantasy sports, and you'll feel like family.
Killing in the name of.
And if you're a giant flip-flopper, you're fired. Take it easy, guys.